Chelsea have just signed Romelu Lukaku, and I want to speak to the Man United fans about this. Majority of the Man United fan base, all of the ex-players that have a voice in the media, wanted this guy out of Manchester United Football Club. If you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, don't be like that. Subscribe right now so you can see more content of this quality. Let's go. Majority of the fan base was screaming for Lukaku to get out our club. He must get out of our club. He's not good enough to play for Manchester United. His attitude is bad, which that can't be anything further from the truth, because whenever Lukaku is on the pitch, he gives you his best. He tries to give you his best. You can clearly see he's putting 100% into his performances. Whereas there's certain other players currently in our squad right now that don't give their best. They jog around the pitch, they walk on the pitch, they pull their face, they do all these things. But Lukaku was never like that. Yet, majority of our fan base wanted this guy out. They said he's not good enough. They named all his weaknesses and they wanted him out. This guy goes to Italy, Inter Milan. Antonio Conte works with him, who is a world-class manager, by the way. Works on him. In Romelu Lukaku's first season at Inter Milan, they finished second, 1 point away from Juventus. They challenged Juventus. In his second year at Inter Milan, he won the league title. Top goal scorer. Had a number of assists. And his overall game improved as well. Now, Chelsea signed Romelu Lukaku. And those same fans, the same fans that wanted the guy out, are now saying Chelsea have signed a world-class striker, are now saying this guy is going to help Chelsea to win the league. The same guy that you wanted out Man United because he weren't good enough for Manchester United, all of a sudden he's good enough for a Champions League winning team. And now you are saying this is the guy that's going to help Chelsea win the title. And now you are afraid of him. They are afraid. The Man United fans that wanted this guy out is now afraid of Romelu Lukaku and what he's going to do at Chelsea, calling him a world-class striker. The same for the ex-players that have a voice in the mainstream media. All said Lukaku must leave. All of them said Lukaku must leave. They were all naming his weaknesses, saying he wasn't good enough for United, but he's good enough for a Champions League winning team. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And those same pundits, those same ex-players are now saying he's an elite goal scorer. They're saying that. Go listen to them. I won't name their names. You know the guys that have played for Man United that got a voice in the mainstream media. You know them. They all saying he's an elite goal scorer. He's a world-class goal scorer. He's one of the best strikers. That's what they're saying now. They're saying he's a top 3 striker in the world. That's what they're saying. They're putting him alongside the Kanes and the Haalands. But they wanted him out. They were talking about his attitude. They were talking about him putting on weight at United, which he did. He put on weight at United. And they were saying that they cannot tolerate that. You know, they can tolerate everything else, but a player putting on weight, you cannot tolerate that. That's funny, you know. That's funny because when Wayne Rooney put on weight at United and couldn't run anymore, those guys never say a word. When Luke Shaw was overweight for seasons, for years he was overweight, they did not say anything. But Lukaku, because he's not British, because he's not English, he puts on weight and they damn him and they condemn him and they tell him to leave the club. Huh? Something that he can go in the gym and 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks max, he can shred that weight. It's easy. It's easy. Go on a fast. Go on a fast and you'll shred that weight. But they said this guy must leave because they said he wasn't good enough and his attitude was bad. All of a sudden now he signs for Chelsea, and those same people, the fans and the ex-players, are all calling Lukaku a world-class striker and are all saying he's going to help Chelsea to win the league. I don't understand it. Man United haven't won the league for 9 years. It's going to be 9 years next year that we haven't won the Premier League. Yet, one of our ex-players is going to help Chelsea to challenge and to win the league. This is the guy you'll wanted out the club. Let me tell you something, guys. At Manchester United Football Club, the team that plays at Old Trafford, that team, there is not a problem with the players. There's a problem with the manager and the coaches. That is the problem at Man United. It has been that problem since the days Sir Alex Ferguson left. From the first appointment, David Moyes, wrong manager, bad manager. He does not have the capability of managing a top 4 club, let alone the biggest club in England. Bad manager. Louis van Gaal, out of season manager. He was once world class. His season has passed him. The tactics and his game plans that he wanted to implement were not suitable for modern day football. Next, Jose Mourinho was once a world class manager, was once the best manager in the world. Not currently the best manager in the world. As with Louis van Gaal, his tactics, his game plans is not suitable for modern day football. Jose Mourinho, from the days of Manchester United, his career went down because he's out of season. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, inexperienced manager, done nothing in the game, yet he's managing for about 10 years now. The problem at Man United is not the players, because all the players that me and you say is not good enough, they leave Man United and they do better than what they were doing at Man United, and they do better than what Manchester United Football Club has been doing. All of them. We said Daley Blind weren't good enough. We sold Daley Blind. He went to play for Ajax. He went to a Champions League semi-final. We said Memphis Depay weren't good enough. Memphis went to Lyon. He went to a Champions League semi-final. Manchester United have not been in the Champions League semi-final for over a decade. For a decade. These are the players that we say is not good enough. We sell Ander Herrera. Some fans saying he's good. Some fans say he's not good enough. But all the fans were saying, okay, let him go because he wants money. You let Ander Herrera go. He goes to a Champions League final with PSG. Champions League final. We have not been to a Champions League final in over a decade. All the players that we sell, that we get rid of, that we say is not good enough, they all do better than what they were doing at Man United, and they all do better than Manchester United as a club. Romelu Lukaku, not good enough. Alexis Sanchez, not good enough. Ashley Young, not good enough. Darmian, not good enough. All these guys won the league last season. All these guys won the league last season. Antonio Conte showed Manchester United what to do with players that they think is not good enough. Because that's the role of a manager, of a top-class manager. That's the mark of a top-class manager. He gets the best out of his resources. Even if he has limited resources, he gets the best out of them. So Romelu Lukaku, most of our fan base, not good enough, gets out our club, goes and wins the league, gets MVP, best player in the Italian league for last season. Come to Chelsea, those same fans, those same ex-players are all now saying he's going to help Chelsea to win the league. We were focused on his weaknesses, which he does have. Which he does have, guys. But let me ask you a question. If you have a BMW, let's say you got an X5 BMW, X5M BMW, top of the range X5, 2021 edition, latest X5. You got the X5, it's taking you from point A to B. It's still going at a top speed that it said it would. All the gadgets inside are functioning, all the latest features, it's all working. The car is magnificent. Everybody admires the car, but there's rattles in the doors. All 4 doors, there's rattles. Do you sell that car, or do you take it to the panel beaters for the panel beaters to panel beat those knocks out those doors? What do? You don't sell the car, am I right? You can never sell the car because it got a few, because the doors are making a noise. Because the doors got rattles inside. You don't sell the car because of rattles. You fix those rattles and you continue driving. It's the same with Lukaku. Lukaku got weaknesses. I'll be the first to admit it. I know his weaknesses. These weaknesses are so glaring. He's got no first touch. He can't play with his back towards goal. His ball control is poor. These are the things that he lacks. But guess what, guys? He's a goal scorer. He's a 20-goal scorer. Minimum 20 goals. Goal scorer. The hardest thing to do in football is to score goals. It's not to defend. It's not to create chances. It's not to pass the ball. It's to score goals. That's the hardest thing in football. That's what the teams go out. 22 men, that's what they're there on the pitch to do, is to score goals. And they play throughout those 90 minutes with the prime objective to score goals. And teams finish 0-0 because it's difficult to score a goal. That's the hardest thing in football, is to score a goal. And you've got a guy there that scores at ease. Yes, he's not as clinical as Kane and as Lewandowski. But if you give him 2 chances, he'll miss one, but he'll score the other. At a club like Manchester United, the stature of our club, we should be creating chances at will. So if you've got a striker that needs 2 chances to score 1 goal, it's fine. Because you're creating chance after chance. All the big clubs do it in Europe. Manchester City, PSG, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, they all create chance after chance. So what's the problem? Even if you've got a boy look like Lukaku that will not score on his first attempt, however, he will score. It's a guarantee he will score. He's an elite goal scorer, a world-class goal scorer. They don't come around, guys. They don't come around. You can't just go to a tree and pick them off a tree. They don't come around. That's why you pay the most money to strikers. You pay the highest transfer fees for strikers and the lower transfer fee for defenders. Because the hardest thing to do is to score the goals. And so when you get someone like Lukaku, who is a world-class goal scorer, but you're focusing on his weaknesses rather than his strengths. And that's the problem at Man United. We highlight our players' weaknesses. Instead of playing to our players' strengths, we play to our players' weaknesses. Look at Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba's strength is to go box to box, is to make those box to box runs with freedom to go forward. That's his strength. But we're playing him as a CDM. His weakness, his bit of weakness that he has, it's not even a major weakness because he can't do it. But we're playing him there. Instead of maximizing his strength, we're worried about his weakness. His weakness. But that's the Manchester United. So with Lukaku, guys, yes, he's got a weakness. His weakness, as I said, he can't play with his back towards the goal. He doesn't have a first touch, and his ball control is poor. These are his weaknesses. But did that stop Antonio Conte from buying him? No. It's a world-class manager, Antonio Conte. He said, I want Romelu Lukaku. He named him. He said, I want Lukaku. And this is what Lukaku had to say about what Antonio Conte done with him. He said, for the first 3 months at Inter, Conte did nothing but train me with my back to the goal. At each training, he would put Ranocchia behind me and asked him to go hard against me. Every time I lost the ball, we had to start the drill again. That's what it's down to. As I said to you guys, at Manchester United, the players are not the problem. They've never been the problem. At Manchester United, the manager and the coaches are the problem. You don't just throw your car away because the doors got rattles inside. You fix those rattles. You fix those rattles. And that's what Conte did. Conte bought Lukaku with his weaknesses. He bought him, and Lukaku said, for the first 3 months, the only thing Conte was doing with Lukaku was training him how to play with his back towards goal, because Lukaku could not do that. Playing with your back towards goal means that you need to be able to hold the ball. So he said they were kicking the ball into him, and he had to hold the ball up and also hold the defender away from the ball. So what that does, guys, it teaches you to play with your back towards goal. It improves your first touch, because if your first touch is bad, the defender will get the ball. That's what it does. And you can put your ball control in there as well a bit. But ball control is a lot with your first touch and when you're running with the ball. So Antonio Conte worked on his weaknesses. And now you look at Lukaku, he's refined. Yes, his first touch is not a first touch of the Lewandowskis, of the Kanes, of the Berbatovs. It's still not very good. But it's not as bad as it once was. His hold-up play now. He has the ability to hold the ball up so his team can move further up the pitch. These are things Antonio Conte worked with him. Now when you watch Lukaku, you see a refined Lukaku. You see that his body as well is chiseled. He's lost all that weight he put on. But the manager signed him like that. The manager was willing to pay 70-something million. for a player that was overweight, for a player that could not trap the ball. But that manager knew, I just need a couple months with this boy. This boy got an elite characteristic that he is able to score goals for fun. So that first touch, that ball control, I will work on those things. And as I said, his ball control is still not very good, but it's at an okay level that he can get by. He can hold the ball up. He can run with the ball. He's a much more improved player because that's what coaching does. That's what coaching does. And we failed at Man United. We failed to do that because we just wanted the guy out. And I said, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sold Lukaku, I said, you know what, if you're going to sell Lukaku, I don't have a problem necessarily with it. What I got a problem with is not replacing Lukaku. I said, if you're going to sell Lukaku, you have to replace him. You cannot take 20 goals out your team and not replace those goals. You cannot, it's impossible. You have to replace Lukaku. And we did not replace Lukaku. We went into that season struggling as ever. Struggling as ever. Bruno came in a January window and we wanted to sign Erling Haaland because Oli knew he messed up. Oli knew he needed a striker. He wanted to sign Erling Haaland. We couldn't get Haaland. Haaland didn't believe in the project that Oli's got at Man United. We signed Odion Ighalo. Ighalo left at the end of the season. We ended up signing Cavani. What does that tell you? The manager knows he needs a striker, but he sold Lukaku. And all the Man United fans, Lukaku's not good enough. Okay, but he's good enough for a Champions League team now. Yeah? How does that make sense? United haven't won the Champions League, haven't challenged for the Champions League, haven't been to a final in over a decade. In a decade. But it's good enough for Chelsea. And now you, the same fans, and the ex-players are now saying he's going to help them to win the league. You have to admit, guys, we have to admit that we got it wrong with Lukaku. We have to admit that. Because, guys, you need to play to your players' strengths. And even if Lukaku's hold-up game and his first touch and his ball control is still not at a level that you would like, don't involve him in the build-up play then. Don't involve him in the build-up play. Don't tell him to come short. Don't ask him to hold the ball up. Tell him to occupy the two centre-backs and tell him to stay in the 18-yard box and play around him. Lukaku thrives on crosses. He thrives on crosses. He thrives his movement in the box, scoring those tap-ins, scoring those scrappy goals, and he thrives on through balls. So you play to his strengths, guys, and don't worry about his weaknesses. This is a guy that guarantees you 20 goals. So now all of a sudden he's at Chelsea. And now us Man United fans, we're afraid now. We're afraid of what he can do to that Chelsea team. But we sold him. So guys, I just wanted to rant a bit and say that we have to hold our hands up sometimes. And we have to say that, you know what, maybe we don't know so much about football. We have to say that. Because we get proved wrong time and time again. The people that said Lukaku must leave are proved wrong because he won the league first of all in Italy. He's one of the best strikers in the world. And now he's at Chelsea playing for a Champions League winning team. And they're about to challenge for the league. So we have to admit that we got it wrong. We have to admit that maybe we don't know so much about football. And maybe we still need to learn. And don't listen to those ex-players. Don't listen to them because a majority of them don't understand what they're talking about. To play the game of football and to analyze the game of football is two different skill sets. Two different skill sets. That's why the best players make the worst managers. And the average players, the worst players, make the best managers. Pep Guardiola was average at Barcelona. Listen to Samuel Eto'o, he'll tell you. Pep even tells you about himself. When he watches video of himself, he said he doesn't know how he made it at Barca. The only reason he made it at Barca because he came through the academy and he was from Catalonia. He was from Barcelona. That's how he made it at Barca. Jurgen Klopp, average footballer, world-class manager. Thomas Tuchel, average footballer that did not even play in the Bundesliga, played in the championship level of German football, world-class manager. Jose Mourinho, one of the greatest managers of all time. Yes, he's not good right now, but he's still one of the greatest of all time. What he done? Did not play football at the highest level. The only exception is Zinedine Zidane. That's the only exception is Zinedine Zidane. Thierry Henry, one of the best strikers of his generation, failed as a manager. Paul Scholes, one of the greatest of all-time midfielders, failed as a manager. Diego Maradona, one of the greatest players of all time, failed as a manager. I can go on and on. Pirlo, one of the greatest midfielders of all time, failed as a manager. I can go on and on and on. To play the game of football, to analyze football is two different skill sets. My advice, stop listening to those guys because they don't know what they're talking about. All of a sudden now there's egg in their face because they said Lukaku must leave. They said he wasn't good enough. Lukaku only needed a coach. That's all he needed was a coach. He did not need to learn how to score. Because now we've got players there that don't know how to score, just tap in goals. Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood, they don't know how to score tap in goals. All their goals, they want to be out of the box. They want to score worldies. They don't know how to score at the tap ins. That's an art in and of itself. Because all the greatest strikers, they're not scoring worldies every game. They're scoring the tap-ins. They're scoring the scrappy goals. That's what you need to do as a striker. So guys, I'm just here to tell you that we got it wrong with Lukaku. We got it massively wrong with Lukaku. World-class striker, one of the best in the world. Now he's at Chelsea. Chelsea are going to challenge for this league. United, I still expect us to challenge. I expect us to challenge. Our team, our squad is good enough. Our squad is good enough to challenge. It's now up to this manager. As I said, the mark of a manager, the mark of a top-class manager is his ability to get the best out of his resources. Make the players perform better than what they really are. So Alex Ferguson was the greatest at that. Making players like Park Ji-sung, Darren Fletcher, John O'Shea, Nicky Butt, all these average players, making them perform at world-class levels. Jurgen Klopp is the same. Look what he's doing to that. Look what he done to Jordan Henderson, Wijnaldum, even Bobby Firmino, Salah, Mane. These players were just average players. Salah was an average player. He couldn't make it at Chelsea. He went to Roma. He done okay at Roma. Jurgen Klopp took him to one of the best and made him one of the best wingers. Same with Pep Guardiola, he improves players. Jack Grealish came out and said he knows his game's going to improve under Guardiola. Guardiola gets the best out of his team. What he done last season, had no right to do last season because he played without a striker. He made them win the league. By a big margin, he won the league. Everybody knew he won the league already in February. Everyone knew, okay, City got the league. Without a striker, because he got the best out of his team. Manchester United got a coaching problem. It's always been the case. Always been the case. There's a coaching problem. There's a management problem at Man United. Yes, we know the structure's a problem. Yes, I get it. And they are inevitably, obviously, appointing a manager, appointing the coaches. I get it. We've got a coaching problem. We've got a management problem. I hope this manager, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, this season, has the ability to get the best out of his players. We've got the likes of Paul Pogba, who has transcended to the point of where we just say he's one of the best midfielders. We have to now throw that statement away. He's no longer one of the best midfielders. He's one of the best players in the world. He's a top 5 player in the world. I don't care who else is on that list, Pogba's there. Even if he's 5th, he's there. He's a top 5 player in the world. In the Euros, he was the best player in the Euros. The best player in the Euros as long as he was in the competition. He was the best player. He played in a team with Kylian Mbappe, Antoine Griezmann, Karim Benzema, and he stood taller than all of them. All of them. He is one of the best players in the world. We need to get the best out of him. Like Gary Neville said last season, January time, when United were flirting with first place. Gary Neville said, Manchester United's hopes of challenging for this league is dependent on Pogba. Because we all know Pogba is the best player at United. Doesn't matter what Bruno's doing. Doesn't matter that we just signed Sancho. Pogba is the best. You see it on the pitch. He's the best. Get the best out of that boy. Get the best out of Bruno Fernandes. Integrate Jadon Sancho. Help Mason Greenwood to continue scoring goals and improve his game. Let Marcus Rashford come back firing on all cylinders. And we can challenge for the title. If you have those components, but the main component for me is Pogba. If Pogba's performing at his best because you're playing him in his best position, stop playing him as a DM. Play him in his best position. And if you've got Bruno that's scoring goals for fun, we will challenge. I've got no doubt in my mind. We will challenge. But that's up to this manager, guys. So I just wanted to rant a little bit. And I'm upset that Chelsea signed Lukaku. That was our player. We let go of this guy. Now he's going to make them even stronger. Guys, if you're watching this video, you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button. I'll see you for my next video. This is for the fans. Peace.